from the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis.
From the VON Newsline, this is the VON Major Newscast.
Good evening, I am Jarvis Bunny with your VON Major News package for today, Monday, 29th July 2019. In our lead stories nationally, 9 bills on the order paper for a sitting of the National Assembly, and public urge to practice safety during Culturama 45. Regionally, 8 gunmen involved in murder of reputed Trinidadian drug lord. Internationally, 3 dead as U.S. Garlic Festival shooting. And in sports, Delilah Mohammed breaks 400-meter hurdles world record at U.S. National Championships. We'll have the details of these and other stories after this message.
Another look.
Different from how you've seen it before.
Another look.
Takes an in-depth look into business, politics, science, technology, religion, and more.
Another look.
Featuring documentaries from the BBC, regional features, and local ones too.
Another look.
Every Monday at 3 p.m. on the Eastern Caribbean's powerhouse.
Wow.
Welcome back, and now on to the national news in detail. 9 bills will be presented in the National Assembly. This, as a sitting of the National Assembly has been slated for Tuesday, July 30th at 10 a.m. at the National Assembly Chambers, Government Headquarters, Basti, St. Kitts. Prime Minister Dr. The Honorable Timothy Harris will seek leave to introduce and have read a first time Drugs Prevention and Abatement of the Misuse and Abuse of Drugs Amendment Bill 2019, Companies Amendment Bill 2019, Money Services Business Amendment Bill 2019, Trusts Amendment Bill 2019, Limited Partnerships Amendment Bill 2019, Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court Judicial Officers Pension Bill 2019, and Advanced Cargo Information Bill 2019. Prime Minister Harris will also move the second reading of Drugs Prevention and Abatement of the Misuse and Abuse of Drugs Amendment Bill 2019. Attorney General the Honorable Vincent Byron Jr. will seek leave to have read a first-time Criminal Records Amendment Bill 2019. Minister of Ecclesiastical Affairs the Honorable Vance Amory will seek leave to have read a first and second time the Seventh-day Adventist Church Incorporation Bill 2019. As activities officially got underway here on Nevis, individuals who will be patronizing various activities are being encouraged to ensure that the necessary safety precautions are put in place. Head of the Nevis Division Superintendent Lyndon David, in speaking to the VON Newsline, had this cautionary advice for patrons of the events.
Persons also who using the vehicles, we are encouraging them to ensure they do not leave anything on the seats of the vehicle so that someone passes and they will smash the window and go and take it out. And we are also encouraging persons to take whatever necessary safety precautions in terms of vehicles. You may have to install alarm systems, or you may have to park in a well-lit area. Sometimes too, you may have to park your vehicle at the location and maybe walk it or catch a bus and go there, or even a taxi, depending on how far you're living from the festive area.
The superintendent also cautioned individuals of the risk as it regards to drinking and driving.
Also, we are encouraging persons to, if they're going to drink any alcoholic beverage or alcoholic drink, do so with someone who has a license and will drive you home. We do not want anyone to be drinking and driving, and drinking you exceed that amount that will cause you to be legally in trouble with the law, where you drive with your blood alcohol level surpassing the number that is required.
Superintendent Lyndon David. The official activities for Culturama began on Thursday, July 25th, with the grand opening of Culturama 45, which was held at the Cultural Village and was immediately followed by the Junior Kaiso Monarch competition, which saw Invincible three-peat as Junior Kaiso King. The St. Christopher Nevis Social Security Board recently participated in the 30th staging of the CARICOM Heads of Social Security meeting held last week in the Republic of Guyana. The Federation was represented by a delegation from the Social Security Board, which included the chairman of the board, Mr. Oscar Walters, former director acting, Mr. Elvin Bailey, and newly appointed director, Mr. Antonio Maynard. This annual congregation of Social Security officials brings to focus the current and future working operations of these pension fund organizations, advancements and new practices for achieving defined goals, projections related to demographics and the economy, and actions that are essential to the effective management of these social protection funds. The two-day meeting was addressed for the first time by CARICOM Secretary General Ambassador Irvin LaRocque, who applauded the practitioners for the efforts in stabilizing households and economies who are dependent on functional social security organizations such as ours. He highlighted, however, challenges as it relates to the growth of the informal sector, drastic increase in non-communicable diseases, and growing complexities of the migrant community across the region. At the end of the meeting, each Social Security organization is responsible to ensure specific tasks are completed before the upcoming meeting in 2020. St. Kitts and Nevis Social Security hosted the meeting in 2018 as part of its 40th anniversary celebration. Leave no room for complacency. That's a word from Chris Liebert, who is a lawyer at the Jackie Hunkins Taylor law firm here on Nevis. Mr. Liebert was a featured speaker at the Royal St. Christopher Nevis Police Force RSCNPF Awards ceremony, which was held at the St. Kitts Marriott Resort on July 25th under the theme Collaborating with the Community in Problem Solving. He also commended the officers of the police force for their successes in reducing gun-based violence in the Twin Island Federation. Mr. Liebert said that despite several challenges faced in fighting crime, the police was able through their vigilance to reduce the number of illegal firearm activities in the Federation in 2018. He added that after being advised by the High Command, we saw a reduction in non-fatal shooting by 25%, a reduction in firearm wounding by 83%, and the removal of 34 illegal firearms from our streets. Advancements in technology are needed more than ever today because traditional crimes are being more sophisticated, the lawyer said. He urged the police officers to continue their hard work and vigilance. 7 Calypsonians have booked their place in the finals of the Senior Calypso Monarch competition for Culturama 45. The 7, who were chosen from a field of 12 at the semi-finals on Saturday night, are Nutsi, King Irwin, Black Hat, Suki, King Hollywood, Murray, and King Astro. They will come up against reigning monarch Keith This and That Scarborough on Saturday, August 3rd at the Cultural Complex in Charlestown. Meantime, inclement weather forced a postponement of the Miss Tam Miss Talented Youth Pageant on Sunday evening. Organizers announced the postponement after persistent showers drenched the Cultural Complex in Charlestown. The event is scheduled to be held this evening at 7 o'clock, and the proceedings will be carried live here on Von Radio. Still in Culturama news, Culturama 45 activities continue will continue on Tuesday, July 30th, with Poets in the Square at 12 noon, and at 8 p.m. the Miss Culture Swimsuit and Mr. Cool contest will take place at the Cultural Complex. The youth pageant, that's actually Miss Culture Swimsuit and Mr. Cool contest, will be carried live here on Von Radio. Wednesday, July 31st has been dubbed Nevis Cultural and Homecoming Day. Over the weekend, Empire Sports Club hosted its aquatic extravaganza at the Charlestown Port on Saturday, July 27th at 10 a.m. QCBA Poker Run was held on Sunday, July 28th at 12 noon. An emoji boat ride was held at 2 p.m. and the TC&A Culturama Games was held at the Nevis Athletic Stadium at 4 p.m. Poets in the Square was also held today at 12 noon at the War Memorial Square. C45 was declared officially open on Thursday, July 25th. The Department of Youth Empowerment in St. Kitts officially opened its annual summer residential camp on Monday, July 22nd, signaling the start of a week-long event under the theme Empowering Our Youth to Manifest Their Gifts. The camp began last Sunday, and around 150 children between the ages of 8 and 16 years participated in the educational program. Various disciplines which were covered included airbrushing, baking, cooking, clothing and design, cosmetology, dancing, drumming, filmmaking, music, painting, photography, bag making, hair braiding, fruit design, and pageantry. The 36th annual summer residential camp ended on Sunday, July 28th. The Royal St. Christopher Nevis Police Force continues its efforts to ensure the safety of the citizens and residents of the Federation. One way the law enforcement body is ensuring such is by the continued training and recruiting of officers into the force. The force is currently conducting training of men and women for course number 43. The training is taking place at the training school at Ponds Pasture in St. Kitts. The recruits are being assessed on physical training, self-defense, written assessments of criminal law, evidence and procedure, general duties, weapons training, and community policing. Former Commissioner of Police Mr. Ian Quayle has formally tendered his resignation of retirement from the police services after nearly 35 years as a law enforcement officer to represent the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States OECS in Rabat, Morocco as its first ambassador to the Kingdom of Morocco. According to a release from the Office of the Prime Minister Dr. the Honorable Timothy Harris said that he was pleased that a son of the soil whom he had worked with so closely over the last 4+ years elevated to the high office of ambassador. He also proposed Mr. Quayle at the time to the OECS Authority as a fit and capable candidate for appointment to the post of ambassador. Mr. Quayle's candidacy was subsequently accepted by the OECS Authority. And lastly, in our national news segment, home owners are being urged to take advantage of an extension of the property tax amnesty program, which was announced by the government of St. Kitts and Nevis last week. This also caters for persons who are in arrears with respect to their property tax. According to a press release issued by the Inland Revenue Department dated July 24, 2019, in an effort to allow taxpayers to become current with their tax obligations, the government of St. Kitts and Nevis is extending its property tax amnesty program, which includes a 10% reduction in the tax amount and the total amount of penalties and interest due to only $100. The release went on to state that taxpayers with arrears are encouraged to visit the Inland Revenue Department to discuss how they can be assisted through the amnesty program, and noted that flexible payment plans are available for taxpayers who are unable to settle the full amount before the end of the amnesty period. To be a part of the amnesty program, all payment plans, including deposits, must be made on or before January 31st, 2020. And that's the national news segment. You can visit our website at www.vonradio.com, or you can check us out on Facebook at Von Radio or our Von Radio YouTube channel for these and other stories. News from across the region is next.
Ladies and gentlemen, this here's another one for the steppers.
Swipe to win big in 2019. That's right, the Bank of Nevis Limited is once again giving you, our valued customers, a chance to win big. Just swipe or use your Bond Visa credit card for US $100 for a chance to win a cruise for two, an iPhone XS, or a grocery dash at Best Buy Supermarket.
Say what?
Sign up for a Bond Visa credit card and automatically be entered for a chance to win. This offer ends August 31st, 2019. So tell your friends and family to swipe to win big with the Bank of Nevis. The Bank of Nevis Limited, improving the quality of life. Like us on Facebook or follow us on Instagram.
Welcome back and now on to the regional news. Out of Trinidad, police have arrested a man in connection to an attack on the home of reputed drug lord Vaughn Sandman Merez. The attack ended with the death of Merez, his wife Alika Letty Dehere, Nigel Blood Octim, and a fourth unidentified man. The four were killed at a house at School Trace Las Cuevas at around 2:15 a.m. on Thursday, July 25th. Two children who were in the house survived the shooting. Police said about 8 men armed with high-powered rifles entered the property from 2 locations and opened fire on the men. Octim was killed at the entrance of the compound, while the second man was shot dead in a hammock at the back of the house. Merez was shot multiple times inside the house and died at the scene. According to Trinidad Express, they were told that Dehere hid inside a cupboard and dialed the police, but she was found and killed. Out of Guyana, Justice Claudette Singh has been selected as the new chairperson of the Guyana Elections Commission, GECOM, succeeding retired Justice James Patterson, who stepped down from the position last month after the Caribbean Court of Justice, CCJ, ruled that his appointment was unconstitutional. Justice Singh was selected from the list of nominees presented to President David Granger by opposition leader Barrett Jagdeo during what had been termed the hammering out process instructed by the CCJ during its final consequential ruling. According to a release from the Ministry of the Presidency, Granger met Jagdeo last Friday to continue meeting to select a final list of 6 nominees. The statement said the President received and reviewed the list. The Guyana's constitution states that the GECOM chairman is to be appointed by the President from a list of 6 persons not unacceptable to the President submitted by the leader of the opposition. In the process leading up to Justice Patterson's appointment, 3 lists were submitted for consideration by Jagdeo, but President Granger rejected them all because he did not think the nominees' qualifications and experience conformed to the requirements outlined in the Constitution or that they met the criteria he had set out in a statement of qualities of the chairman of the GECOM submitted to the leader of the opposition. Out of Jamaica, Jamaica's Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett says a strong collective regional effort is needed to curtail the rapidly growing threats posed by the influx of sargassum seaweed in the Caribbean. Among the interventions he is proposing is the development of a comprehensive scientific initiative to devise the most efficient way to collect sargassum in the open sea without harming the ecosystem. He was speaking at a regional roundtable forum at the University of the West Indies regional headquarters in St. Andrew under the theme Sargassum and the Caribbean, Resilience, Innovation and Solutions. Mr. Bartlett noted that the masses of sargassum, which have washed onto beaches along the Caribbean Sea, the Gulf of Mexico and the tropical Atlantic, have smothered coral reefs and trapped several species of marine life. The tourism minister further pointed out that sargassum has destroyed colonies of mangroves, which has, in the process, contributed to the demise of turtles and fish species. News from Puerto Rico. The resignation of Puerto Rico's Governor Ricardo Rossello after mass protests have sparked a succession battle, and the winner could be a Washington corporate lawyer not directly linked to his administration, which has been dogged by corruption scandals. The governor said last Wednesday he would step down on August 2nd in the face of public anger over the release of profane chat messages and embezzlement charges against 2 former administration officials. As a result, Ms. Wanda Vasquez has been selected as the one to take the post. However, Pedro Pierluisi, who represented the island in Washington from 2009 to 2017, has made it clear to party leaders he would accept the job, according to AlJazeera.com. Also vying for the position is Puerto Rico Senate President Thomas Rivera Schatz of the New Progressive Party, PNP. And lastly, in our regional news segment in Trinidad and Tobago, on July 16, 2019, the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian newspaper released an investigative report revealing that the government gave contracts to 7 gang leaders amounting to almost $6 million in Trinidad currency. The report is based on findings released from the special branch of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, and it identified the gang leaders by their aliases or initials. Based on an article from CaribbeanNews.com, the majority of the contracts, many of which amounted to more than 200,000 Trinidad currency, with some additional payments after related to roadwork and drain construction in the gang's respective neighborhoods. And that's it for our regional news segment. Stay with us for news around the world. Welcome back on the one to the international news. 3 people have been killed and 15 injured after a gunman attacked a food festival in California. The gunman was shot dead by police shortly after he began firing, although police are investigating reports that a second suspect may still be at large. The Gilroy Garlic Festival was about to end for the weekend on Sunday evening when shots were fired at the site. 6-year-old Stephen Romero is the first of the dead to be identified. His mother and grandmother were wounded. It was the 246th mass shooting in the U.S. this year, according to U.S. tracking website Gun Violence Archive. China has condemned the recent anti-government protests in Hong Kong as horrendous incidents that have caused serious damage to the rule of law. A spokeswoman for China's top policy office in Hong Kong insisted that the territory's top priority was to restore social order. The comments marked a rare intervention by the Hong Kong and Macau Affairs Office, HKMAO. Celia Hatton reports.
Beijing seems to be trying to address the turmoil in Hong Kong with a two-pronged strategy. It's sharing its views on why the territory's residents are protesting, blaming continuing violence on a small number of radicals who were influenced by overseas forces. The Hong Kong and Macau Affairs spokesman, Yang Guang, sounded conciliatory at times, attributing the discontent that sparked the original protests over proposed legislation that would have allowed extradition to mainland China to a lack of knowledge over how things operate over the border.
Alexei Navalny discharged from hospital. That's actually a doctor for Alexei Navalny, Russia's most prominent opposition figure, says he has been discharged from hospital. Mr. Navalny, who was detained last week, will now be transferred back to jail. Steve Rosenberg reports.
This morning, Alexei Navalny's medical team was allowed into the hospital to see him. In a post on social media, his doctor wrote that it was clear Mr. Navalny's condition had improved. The hospital, which has diagnosed him with dermatitis, decided to discharge him. Mr. Navalny's own doctors had opposed that, concerned that a toxic agent may have caused his symptoms. He was left with a swollen face, discomfort in the eyes, and rashes on his body.
And the teenager who accused a ruling party lawmaker of rape in 2017 has been seriously injured in a road accident in India's northern Uttar Pradesh state. The 19-year-old was traveling with her lawyer and 2 relatives when their car was hit by a lorry on a state highway. The 2 female relatives of the girl have died, and her lawyer is also in hospital with serious injuries. The girl's mother has alleged foul play, saying that the collision was not an accident and demanding justice. The family wants police to open a murder investigation against Bharatiya Janata Party BJP lawmaker Kuldeep Singh Sengar, who is accused of raping the teenager. And that brings us to the end of our news segment. The latest in sports is next.
First Cover is TDC Insurance's special motor insurance package for first-time motor vehicle owners. We at TDC Insurance understand that as a new vehicle owner, you may not have a no-claims discount. With First Cover, we consider your driving experience, age, and accident history, which allows you to receive up to 45% off your first motor insurance premium. And to make it easier, we offer attractive financing options to suit your pocket. Sit back and relax. We'll help you get the protection you need. At TDC Insurance, we take good care of you, guaranteeing you peace of mind.
Welcome back on to the sports. In athletics, Olympic champion Dalila Mohammed broke the 400-meter hurdles world record on the final day of the U.S. National Championships in Iowa. The 29-year-old took more than a tenth of a second off a record that had stood for 16 years, clocking 52.20 seconds to beat Russian Lilia Petrokina's previous mark of 52.34. 19-year-old Sydney McLaughlin was second in 52.88 and Ashley Spencer third in 53.11. All three qualified for the World Championships in Doha in September, where they will be joined by reigning world champion Corey Carter in a formidable U.S. quartet. Still in athletics, Christian Coleman eased to victory in the 100-meter final of the U.S. National Championships to qualify for this year's World Championships in Doha. Coleman finished in 9.99 seconds, ahead of Michael Rogers and Christopher Belcher, both 10.12 seconds. The 23-year-old said after the race, "I came into the year wanting to win a gold medal in Doha." Five-time Olympic medalist Justin Gatlin had also reached the final of the men's 100 meters, beaten by Coleman in the semifinals, but withdrew from the race, having already qualified for the World Championships as reigning champion. In more athletics, six-time Olympic gold medalist Allyson Felix says she is just happy to be running again after racing for the first time in 13 months at the U.S. National Championships in Iowa. Felix gave birth to daughter Cameron by emergency cesarean section in November 2018. The 33-year-old finished third in her semi-final in 51.45 seconds. Felix was fourth in her heat, nearly 3 seconds slower than her personal best. The U.S. Championships serve as trials for the World Championships in Doha, which start on September 27th. In cricket, Andre Russell and Darren Bravo have been axed for the 3-match one-day international series against India starting next month. Both featured in the just concluded ICC World Cup in England, but had little impact in their limited appearances. The squad reads Jason Hall, the captain, Fabian Allen, Carlos Brathwaite, John Campbell, Rustin Chase, Sheldon Cottrell, Chris Gale, Shimon Hetmeyer, Shai Hope, Evan Lewis, Kimo Paul, Nicholas Puran, Kemar Roach and Oisin Thomas. And lastly, in our sports segment, in cricket, Australia clinched the 2020 portion of the Women's Ashes with a comfortable 7-wicket win over England at Hove. Tammy Beaumont top scored with 43 from 39 balls, and as England posted what they hoped would be a potentially competitive 121 for 8 on a slow pitch. The scores were as follows: England won 21 for 8 in 20 overs, Beaumont 43, Janassen 2 for 19, Wareham 2 for 22. Australia won 22 for 3 in 17.5 overs, Perry 47 not out, Lanning 43 not out. Australia won by 7 wickets. That's it for sports. The weather is next. Welcome back. Tonight's weather will continue to be partly cloudy with a 70% chance of showers and a slight chance of thunderstorms. The weather tomorrow will be mostly cloudy with showers and a moderate chance of thunderstorms. The winds are east-southeast with speeds ranging between 22 and 37 kilometers per hour. The seas are 2 to 2.8 meters. The sunrise tomorrow will be at 5:49 a.m. And that's how we wrap up the major news package for today, Monday, 29 July 2019. Before we go, let's take a look at the headlines once again. Nationally, 9 bills on the order paper for a sitting of the National Assembly, and public urged to practice safety during Culture Armor 45. Regionally, 8 gunmen involved in murder of reputed Trinidadian drug lord. Internationally, 3 dead in U.S. Garlic Festival shooting. And in sports, Dalila Mohammed breaks 400-meter hurdles world record at U.S. National Championships. On behalf of the rest of the news team, I am Jarvis Brown wishing you a pleasant evening.